Coach Aubrey here, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. At least that's what I'm calling it. So welcome to my channel if this is your first time. If you get value from this channel, please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about something really helpful today because I'm going through it personally, and I just had the biggest revelation about it. So if you are one of my fellow empaths, please comment on this video. I would love to hear your thoughts, because what I'm going to talk about today is going to be a little bit of a spinoff from a video I've done before. If you check out my other videos, I sent another one to empaths, basically a message to empaths, explaining the difference between why empaths are the way they are and why narcissists are on the other end of the spectrum, and how, as an empath, to keep from self-abandoning. So in that video, I talk about tools and tricks to not abandon yourself in relationships and situations. In this video, what I really want to get to the bottom of is why that's important and what happens when you do self-abandon. Because if you know why you need to keep from doing it, I find it's a lot easier not to do it. It's actually a form of love to make sure that you have boundaries and you don't let friends cross the line. So that's the other cool thing about this video, is I'm not going to talk about dysfunctional, really unhealthy people that we're just trying to completely remove from our lives. I'm going to talk about our friends, which gets really blurry because sometimes those are the hardest relationships to navigate, because we want them in our lives. We don't just want to, wipe our hands of them. We want to fix things. But especially as an empath, it can be really hard because we're very sensitive and we tend to tiptoe around people. And depending on what their personality is like, we're scared of how they're going to react and what it's going to do to the relationship. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what happened to me recently with a friend and what I took away from it that I know is such a lesson from the universe. So much so that I took a Wellness Wednesday and I just showed myself some compassion. It is such a good lesson, so I've got to share it. Okay, so let's get to the story here. So this is what happened. I have a friend, a good friend, and we met each other during a time when we were really turning our lives around. I mean, we were pulling ourselves out of a hole when we met. We were picking ourselves up from our bootstraps, as they say. So as we first met, we really started to work on ourselves together and encourage each other. There was a little bit of trauma bonding trickled in there, but we were really focused on solutions, right? So years and years go by, we got a decade almost has passed. We're still friends. But something really significant has happened with this person. And that is, what happened is he relapsed and he got in a really bad accident. And because of that, he is permanently altered. Okay? So when you hear that, it kind of makes your heart sink. You're like, man, that is tough. But even though his brain is altered, he's not helpless. There's so much he can do. He's a genius. He's so capable. It's unbelievable what a smart person this guy is. So anyway, great friend. I've been there for him. He's been there for me. We've had a great friendship over the years. Since this accident and since that incident happened with him, it's transitioned from a back and forth friendship where I'm giving energy and he's giving energy. It shifted into I'm taking on all of this really hard energy, this kind of traumatic energy. And as a friend, we should hold space for each other, right? That's what friends are for. When you need somebody, your friends should be people that you can use as a crutch. And that's where I'm going with this. So that's where it gets so confusing as an empath, because we are not always the best at recognizing when we're not needed like that anymore. So we begin to think that people need us far beyond that expiration date. So in other words, if somebody is all healed up, or they're in a position where they can then rely on themselves, or they have the tools to take care of themselves and solve their own problems, they no longer should be leaning so hard on you. Okay? But it's not that they're trying to do you wrong, it's just they don't see it happening, and a lot of times we don't either. But what happens when you have an injury and you use a crutch for a while, but you keep using that crutch way beyond the expiration date, way beyond the time that you are healed? Now, special note, your body might not be the same again. You might be a little permanently altered. You know, say you break a knee or something, you might always be a little susceptible to re-breaking it, or it might be a little sensitive a lot of the time. However, you can walk on it again. So if you're sitting there and you're still using this crutch, two things happen. The crutch gets worn out, it probably breaks eventually, and your body becomes imbalanced because you're not relying on yourself. You're relying on that crutch. So you're actually beginning to do more damage to your body over time because you're using a crutch you don't need. So I say that because it's the same thing in our friendships. If we have a friend who's been relying on us for way beyond the amount of time that they need to, we begin to break down. We begin to feel a little bit used. And as empaths, we tend to get resentful because we hold stuff in and we don't set boundaries quick enough. So that's why I'm bringing this up, because if you look at it like a crutch that's being overused, you're being overused, you're a crutch that's being overused, you see that not only is it breaking you down, it's breaking your friend down. Your friend's not able to progress. So when we look at it like that, you realize that by continuing to say yes and continuing to answer that phone when you know a friend is calling to unload on you, or maybe to talk about the same issue they've been talking about for months, and it just makes you feel kind of icky in your stomach when you see their name pop up, they are using you as a crutch beyond the expiration date. It is no longer that equal exchange of energy. And if you're an empath, you are very aware of energy, regardless if you know it or not. So when you're in a conversation with someone, you can feel when it's equal because you feel good. You feel like you're in a flow. You're sharing, they're sharing, and it's energizing. It feels good. And you can feel in your gut when that shifts and when all of a sudden you start to feel like your chest is getting tight, your stomach is getting tight, you just feel uneasy, and the other person is becoming addicted to unloading on you. So just remember, it's just that you're becoming a crutch that they don't need anymore. And so if you go to my other video I talked about, I believe the title is Empaths Stop Self-Abandoning. That's going to get more into the tools and the tricks of how to do that, like how to set boundaries with this person. But I'm telling you, it doesn't mean it's a bad friendship. It doesn't mean that the person is toxic. It probably just means that they're in a little bit of a rut and they're becoming over dependent on you. So my fellow empaths, it is time to take care of you, okay? And that's why I decided to reset and have a Wellness Wednesday. So if it's challenging for you to do this, what I would suggest is just be kind to yourself for a full day. If the person who's been draining you calls, do not answer it. Maybe even silence your phone for a day if you can. Don't feel guilty. Remember, you are helping this person by setting a boundary. But take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Show compassion to yourself, okay? You need to be taken care of more than the person who's draining you. They have their own journey and they are able to tap into their own resources. I promise you, they're probably way more able and capable than you think they are right now. So take care of you so they can take care of them and have a powerful, powerful life ahead. If you got value from this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your experience or what you think, and be sure to catch my next video. Y'all be good.